What is up, everybody? Back to working on this S13 some more. Just getting started with this thing, it needs a lot of work. There's quite a few things that need to be done, but I'm just slowly trucking away, trying to just do one thing at a time and, try not to get too overwhelmed with the entire build thought process, which I've been kind of thinking about for the past 10 years, to be honest. So it's kind of been a thing. But anyway, the car. It has definitely become a shelf and placeholder for many parts and things that I'm staging, even some pool floats that managed to hit the roof. Managed to score a VLSD, which was not my initial plan. I kind of wanted it open so that I could easily weld it. Heard that you can weld these, but it's harder because obviously the VLSD casing on the inside kind of makes things harder to get to weld. It's kind of test fitting bushings and stuff like that, as I have to kind of rough fit everything for the S14 subframe because I'm gonna actually take this thing and get it powder coated. So before I do that, I kind of had to make sure that the bushings would fit. And I kind of dinged them up a little bit, knocking them in the rest of the way, but I'm not even sure if they have to go further or not. I may end up having to like press them or something. But they kind of go in a weird direction, and the way I kind of did it, and I should have filmed it. I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't film this, but I just bolted the fronts. And now these are upside down right now, but they go the other way. So I bolted the fronts, and it gave me like my distance front to rear, and I just had the studs like sticking out of the holes on either side, and then I kind of just like turned these around and lifted the diff, raised and lowered the diff and turned it until it would actually line up and fit in the holes. And luckily, my boy Jake, shout out to Jake, he had told me it was pretty much just these two lower corners going down into the middle there. When I watched his video on it, he's like literally one of the only people that I could find that had information on doing this swap. I need to get a vent tube for here. One thing that nobody ever really talks about either, okay? So this is a G35 diff. Actually, it came out of a 350Z. I'm sorry. But the rear cover only has one bolt. So when I bought my conversion kit, I wanted the two bushing style just because I felt like, I might make some jam at some point here as far as power, and why not have it? I want it so to be like as strong as possible. So I had to buy a cover. Luckily, once again, Jakey Poo came in handy. Sold me his brand new Pathfinder cover. Now the thing about the Pathfinder covers, if anybody's trying to do this swap, is that they have a different stud size. So the actual stud size coming out of the cover is like an M14 or something, I think. So you have to basically convert it back down to the regular size. I think what Jake did on his was he just got a regular stock Pathfinder, and it goes in M14, it comes out M12, and I think he just drilled his bushing holes to M12 size. You know what I mean? The actual size of them, I believe, is M10 or something. So we're gonna see how this works, because I just got conversion studs from gktech that go from M14 to M10, and they're not Loctited or anything in there. I'm probably gonna use some red and double nut them up, lock them in there. But pretty cool that they offer them. They were kind of pricey for what they are, considering that they're just like stud bolts and you have to buy them individually. But it is what it is. All in the good of having a solid rear end. So another thing that I opted for was to get some gktech plates, reinforcement plates that actually bolt into the actual, or bolt in the frame, weld into the frame. And these things are pretty sweet. Like, they do a lot for it. You can see, like, not only are they like, dimpled for some strength but not so much weight, but they actually like support here, like between this, like joint, whatever arm is going to go here. I don't even know. What is that, toe arm? Yeah, these are the toe arms. So Before you weld them, they do recommend that you bolt the actual at least joint in there and torque the bolt down to spec. As you can see here as well, I do have the gktech eccentric lockout. Get rid of the bolt moving around from the stock, you know, adjustment points. So not only do I have to weld in these plates, I don't know what side this one is. It's actually the other side. These fit in there nicely, by the way. If anybody's thinking about buying these gktech reinforcement plates, I would definitely say do it, because these things are sick. They fit in there nicely, and they should be easy to weld. They give you some instructions on how to weld them too, and I'm probably going to do that at my work since I have access to a nice welder. Or I may even take one of our smaller portable units home or something, who knows. There are quite a few different pieces that get welded in different spots that actually make it pretty strong overall. The next big ticket item that I already got is the wide angle kit for the front. So I ended up going gktech for most of all the rear subframe, and all like the bushings and the uprights, and all the arms in the rear are going to be gktech V4 arms. But the front is all FDF, and I was gonna, you know, looking at buying like arm kits because they sell them, you know, obviously for the whole chassis. But then I started looking, and I was like, well, the wide angle kit comes with the arms already in it, adjustable lowers, tension rods, you know what I mean? You get tie rod extensions out of it, and you get like your anchorman adjustment out of it. So it's kind of cool. I can't hate. They also come with these top plates to replace when I get the new BC coilovers, is what I went with. Some BC DS series coils. Kind of did a little custom spring rate, so they might take a while, but it's not really that custom. So like factory, they're like 8K, 6K setup, and I went with like a 9K, 6K setup, since I'll probably be a little bit heavier in the front being LS. So essentially, I have to go over the entire chassis, and like I kind of started here with like adding stitch welding to all the pieces of the, you know, exterior kind of metal and all the different layers of it. Kind of is just supposed to strengthen up the entire chassis, and I started, but I need to do it on like the whole chassis, and then basically get everything sanded down, and then I've been using this self-etching primer just to go to bare metal to get something on there so it doesn't rust out immediately. Living in Florida, it's so high humidity, like if you let it sit for like a day or two, it starts rusting. So, you know, I left off the last video, and basically we were ready for pistons and cylinders. I just have these cardboard covers on the engine right now to kind of keep dust and random metal and random things that might be flying around in here out of the engine. But I'm still missing pistons and some cylinders. I mean, pistons and rods. I have a set of 4/8 pistons over there on the shelf, if you can see that. But I don't really want to build a 4/8 to start off with in this car. If I'm going to put the time and the money into building one of these engines, you know, and kind of like making one that's kind of solid, I don't really want to build it as a 4/8. I'd rather just do a 5/3 because it's not much more money, and I feel like you get much more bang for your buck. So I also got the tube front for the front. I need to figure out, I think I'm going to get some bash bars maybe first, because I think that's going to be part of it, because I was looking, and these plates look as though they're designed to go like right here. And obviously, you know, the hook, the stock tow hook's in the way. I'm gonna have to cut that off, but, and then probably re-weld it back on here. But then that's the thing, I think all the bash bars pretty much bolt to like where this is, so I'd like them to hit this same plat. So unless I can get a deal on like maybe the front and rear bash bars at the same time, I'm just gonna opt for just buying a front one for now so we can finish this. The rear should be easy because the rear should just bolt into where the factory bash bar kind of goes. So yeah. So once I get some pistons and some rods, I'll be able to put the engine at least back all the way together. And one of the big pieces to this puzzle that I'm actually missing still is the swap kit. And as you can see over here, I still got my little CD09 chilling in the corner. So we're gonna run that. And it kind of, nowadays there's so many options for swap kits, and the original kit that I was gonna buy from LOJ has like increased like a lot in price. So now I'm kind of looking at other options. Like maybe LOJ isn't the best answer. I do like that their kit, however, is like all inclusive. Like, you know, I can get a drive shaft from them, and I can get basically the oil pan and oil sump, you know what I mean? And the shifter relocation and the adapter plate to go from LS to CD09, you know what I mean? So, but then when I priced it with the clutch, it was like ridiculous. But I mean, I'm going to have to buy it anyway, so I don't really know what I'm going to do yet. I'm just trying to figure out the best means of doing it poor broke man style, you know? There's no sense. For me, I just don't want to spend money in places that I don't need to. It's not even like I don't have the money. It's more of just not being an idiot with the money and just making sure that I'm getting the most bang out of my buck. Because that's how I roll. But S13 subframe should make a nice addition to this chassis. I'm not sure if the rack is good. I rebuilt the steering rack on this car a long time ago, but I remember when I did it, I didn't bleed the air out of the lines, so air got trapped inside and it wouldn't steer, and I kind of forced the steering wheel and I kind of heard a pop. So I'm not sure if the pop was like a seal or if just air just escaped somewhere past the seal. We're gonna find out, I guess, when we hook it up the first time. As of right now, yeah, I mean, it works. I mean, it steers the wheels back and forth, but these stock struts and control arms and everything, tension rods, have got to go. I mean, they're terrible. So that's why I bought the FDF kit. I'm sure I'm forgetting all kinds of stuff about this build or whatever, so if you guys have any questions or anything, just leave them in the comments. But here's another big piece too I got to figure out. So they have these, I'm not sure exactly which way this goes. I think it goes this way because you want it to be the most, but that's forward, so this must be the wrong side. Oh wow, I wasn't even showing you guys on the camera. These FDF strut tops obviously are quite off-centered from factory, so apparently you got to do some trimming around your strut tower. So probably gonna spend the rest of the video just kind of marking that out. I don't know if I'm gonna cut it in this video or even today, but I'm gonna figure out probably how much metal needs to be removed and from where. So let's do that. Okay, so first step was get rid of this strut bar. Ooh, it's a pretty good bar. It's an gktech for anybody wondering. But we figured out the orientation of this too. Apparently it goes like this. You want the thing forward. So I don't really have a good plan of attack for this. Guess I'll probably do what most people do and bolt it up from the bottom, but I don't really see how that gets you your adjustment on the top. Perhaps I can take it out of this and lay this thing on top and just figure it out. We'll see. Alright, so what I ended up doing was I took off these little spacers, I think that's what all those are, and I used the left side for the right side and the right side for the left side, and I flipped them upside down so that it would give me basically the degree. I could change it all the way one way and put it all the way one way, basically like this. This is the left side. So yeah, stuck it on there, you know what I mean, and then I turned it the other way max, and I marked the hole with a marker on the inside, Sharpie. And then I basically, it's hard to see, you can kind of see my Sharpie marks around, and then I'm just pilot holing the centers. What I plan on doing is just getting a hole saw. It looks like the center part of this is like 1 3/8 inches. So I think I might just get like 1.5 inch hole saw and just run it here, run it there, run it there, run it there, basically until I get both sides cut out evenly with a nice round arch on each side, and then I can just cut the little leftover in the middle with my air saw. That's the plan anyway, or file it down or whatever I gotta do, but I'm trying to make it as clean as possible and not tear up a whole lot. So went and got me actually 1.5 inch hole saw, and I'm gonna just hit it on my centers of both my holes. Alright, so basically at this point I gotta jack the car up, and I gotta get these stock struts out of the holes enough to where I could drill deep enough. And I'm thinking, since if I'm gonna do all that, I might as well get it ready to bolt the FDF kit on and just take all the stock parts off. So I think what I'm gonna do is move the engine back, jack up the front, put some jack stands underneath the cross member, and then probably just take off this side for now. Probably let that side hang down, and this side I'll just take the wheel off and everything, since I can't get to that side yet. Alright, managed to jack it up, get it on some jack stands. Got the stock struts to drop out. I'm gonna drill these the rest of the way on both sides. Yeah. Okay, so low battery, but this is what we're going for here. I used the grinder, and I just kind of like squared it off here and here and there. I'm gonna do the last one over there. This is for some sanding, possibly a die grinder with the appropriate burr bit / drum sanding wheel or something. Clean those edges up. It's in there. It's hard to move because the bolts are loose on one side. Yep, I need to clean up the edges and stuff with my die grinder, probably bring it home from work. But yeah, I got a lot of work to do because I got to get up under here. Got to get rid of like all these little like weld spots that I did so long ago with the crappy welder, really just learning how to weld. I mean, they're not bad. I just need to clean them up, get rid of stuff like this. I was using plates in the back of it to kind of give me something material. Now I've mastered kind of plug welding, so it's a different story. But yeah. Alright, so just took out the stock strut there. Nothing fancy there. 2 17mm bolts. And then basically gonna take all this stuff off just so I can get in here and kind of work these upper parts. But yeah. Stock knuckle, I don't know what I just did with it. Ah, it's over here. This is actually going to a buddy of mine. Alright, so let's get the rest of this old shit out of here that we're not going to use anymore. Okay. Only thing left now is this tie rod. Everything's gone now. We got plenty of room for activities in here. Fix these towers. From, like I said, I welded a bunch of shit. I boogered it all up from behind here. I'm gonna grind all that back down. Get rid of it. Make it all nice and smooth. Since there's no light up in here to see it, I probably won't film this. You don't need to see this. Okay, I'll report back when it's over. So I pretty much ran out of batteries. I already put a coat of some self-etching primer just to kind of prevent some rust because I'm going to be gone for a while with work. But when I come back, I'm going to bring the welder home with me and I'm going to finish up some of these holes that didn't get fixed properly, and eventually the idea is to just rubberized coating this whole underside here, basically from like the door all the way forward. So, well, maybe to like this point, actually, or wherever I weld that plate on there. But that'll be months down the road here. Yeah, I think that's pretty much going to do it for this video. Just trucking away, doing more things to this thing. I'm going to do probably like a build breakdown thing as I do all the parts, you know what I mean? I'm rough fitting stuff now because it's kind of just necessary to put things in now, but like, you know, I'll probably do like a video when I actually install the wide angle kit. But yeah, that's it. Y'all have a good one. Peace.